What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel and another video. As much as I really want to get back to the diagnosis of my PO300 and the fixing of that problem, or at least trying to extend the life of my engine, this thing never seems to amaze me on its ability to rearrange my automotive priorities. So with that in mind, let's have a look at this. I apologize in advance for the vertical video. Pretty sure that's a wheel bearing. Also pretty sure it's in the rear. Gonna find out. As you can see, it appears we have a sound coming from probably the rear, and I believe it's most likely the rear wheel bearings. One of them, if not, it's the front. So they're all old. They've all got almost 200,000 miles at this point. So I'm going to do them all eventually, but I'm going to start with the rears right now. So we're going to get into some rear wheel bearings for this thing. And while I'm back there, I'm also going to go ahead and do those toe bolts that I mentioned before, so I can take this car and at least get a decent alignment on it, because I've had too much negative camber driving around for a while on that rear wheel. So let's get into it. So I'm sure that OEM would be better if I could get it, but Moog parts are not that expensive. I've had some decent luck with Moog in the past, so hopefully these Moog rear new hubs and bearings will solve my problem. And this car is just a daily driver. I'm not taking it to the autocross or anything. You know, occasionally I might take it on a little trip to do some aggressive driving in the mountains, but no track duty here. Give you guys a little bit of insight as to why I commonly refer to this thing as rust bucket, etc. So that's my rear subframe. Not the worst, not ready to fall apart. And in fact, most of what holds it up in there is actually okay, as far as the bolts holding it in place and where they go into the unibody, like there. And if you look at the my trailing arms where they mount up, the only thing that's really bad is my jack points. See those jack points right there and here? You can see how annihilated they are. And that is what happens if you are a person that does not understand you're not supposed to use a jack like this to jack up the car from these places right here over and over. So that was done to this car before I got it. So at some point, I may try to cut some of that out, weld in some plates right there to hold that together better, or I may give up on this whole car as completely this shell and take this engine, suspension, and everything else I have here and put it on another shell. But for now, I'm still daily driving it. And what we're gonna try to fix now is just out here on the hub, the wheel bearing, and then these are my toe bolts we're gonna try to get off. They're very rusted. So all this stuff is coming apart way easier than what it would if you had a car with original brakes on it. Just an FYI for anybody out there watching. This is what we're getting down to. All right, so first we're gonna try to get as much rust off of these threads on these bolts right here that we can. then we're going to heat them up. Bolt. Each time I'm pounding the socket on there, and I'm using a wobble, it flex a U-joint, half-inch U-joint. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that is an OEM wheel bearing. That's never been changed. Woo. Yeah, in fact it says Momoko right there. Get a little more aggressive. Alright, so we're not going to get all the rust off of the outer hub to be perfect, but the goal here was to make our mating surface as clean, smooth as possible. And our ring here, where our new bearing is going to go. We don't want a bunch of corrosion left on that. Weight reduction, guys. It's 5 horsepower right there. Alright, we got both our old one and our new one over here on the bench. And so we're going to transfer our ABS sensor from the original over to our new part. And so this is going to use a E7 Torx. Get over here and hold it. Yeah, you're going to need a 1/4 inch size E7 Torx. I actually had to go buy one real quick because the only E-Torx I had, the reverse Torx I had, were all 3/8 input. And so the base of the socket input was too big to fit in this little tiny space. Okay, no need to get crazy with the torque on that. I've already loosened this other one over here. Okay, something else I've already done too is I went ahead and put those bolts right back in this thing, because here in a minute I'm going to take a wire wheel and try to clean off the ends of those bolts. And rather than putting them in the vise or holding them with pliers, possibly screwing up those bolts while I'm running a wire wheel on them, I'll just put them back in these actual bearings. Let them sit there. Alright, we got the messiest substance in the world out, which is anti-seize, and I believe our new brake dust shield is going to go right here, just like that. Yeah, right there. And we go just like this right here. If you're curious about your alignment, just make sure your bracket is in the big hole. Sounds so much better than what it did before. Good old anti-seize. Nope, all that work. I don't think I plugged the sensor back in. I sure did it. Don't forget that, folks. Plug your ABS sensor back in or it won't work. There we go. Well, the noise isn't totally gone. It's a little better, but not gone. So I'm thinking it may actually be the front wheel bearings as well, but I'll take a look into those. I also was going to try to take an attempt at changing my rear toe bolts. And as I heated them up, I noticed that the rubber mounts on the inside of the control arms were also garbage. So I may look into some new control arms and do the toe bolts at the same time. And then I also want to make sure to have a double check to make sure all my wheels are properly balanced right now. And then after that, if I still got a lot of vibration and noise, then I'll go ahead and do the front wheel bearings at some point. But anyways, that's rear wheel bearings on a Mazdaspeed 3. It's pretty much the same as a regular 3. I know there's some decent videos out there for that, but at least on mine, I've got those nice new dust shields back behind the brake rotors now, so they don't look like complete garbage anymore. So, but that's gonna wrap it up for this video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. If you found any of this helpful, please choose to subscribe to the channel, give me a like. Take care, see you guys in the next one.